Okay. Saurabh, am I audible? Very clear?
Yes, sir. Clear.
Okay, let's start. I'm sharing the screen. Okay, are you able to see the PowerPoint presentation?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm beginning with the presentation, Saurabh. Okay. So, in your class, that is EC third year, there is a bit of transformation in the syllabus. Some changes have been introduced by the Academic Council of the University, and as per their recommendations, electromagnetic field theory has been introduced as a new elective subject in the ECE, that is Electronics and Communication Engineering third year. So we'll begin with the topics. Today we'll be taking a brief introduction. We'll be discussing about what electromagnetic field theory is about, what are its applications, and in general about some coordinate transformations altogether. So today's lecture is subdivided into these four part: introduction, then vector arithmetic review, coordinate systems and transformations, and then some examples are there. We'll move to the next slide. Fields and waves, first of all, we'll be discussing because these are the topics which you are familiar with. You would have studied these as a part of your physics syllabus. So what are the prerequisites you must know before you move on to this course? Vector calculus, calculus complex variables, which we have studied as a part of mathematics 3 as well as mathematics 2nd as a part of your first year and second year syllabi. The focus of the course is basically on development of foundations of electromagnetic field theory, but there will be certain bit of advancement because you are studying it as a part of third year course, new syllabi pattern, and some foundations you have already studied, I believe, but we will be covering some advancement in some foundation aspects of electromagnetic theory. Course objectives, these are very important and you must note them down. On the completion of this course, students should gain through understanding of time varying fields, Maxwell's equation, time harmonic fields and plane electromagnetic waves, understand the operating principles of resistors, capacitor, inductors, which you all must be knowing, but we are considering them because they play an important role as a hardware application. Be able to analyze simple electronic equipments utilizing electromagnetic concepts, because this is the base for studying antennas, antenna and wave propagation, microwave propagation, optical fiber communication. This subject will act as a base, and it is very much closely related to your wave optics, wave physics, and electromagnetics, electrostatics and magnetostatics both covered all together. Lab component, there will be lab 2 as per the part of the course. MATLAB sessions are there, and some advanced tools like HFSS would also be discussed. High frequency structure simulator by ANSYS will be a part of the course for design of these some structures related to electromagnetics, which we call them as waveguides or antennas or isolators, gyrators, and some other structures will also be discussed. Evaluation scheme is to be very clearly observed. There will be 6 assignments, 5 assignments from theory and 1 solved from the lab, which will be 20%. Surprise quizzes will be there. 5 quizzes will be there, 20% coverage. Exams, midterms, basically we have CTs, class tests, so that will cover 25%. And ensems, that is obviously, they cover the entire marks. But this 25% will again be, this 20, 20 and 25 will be again subdivided as per the syllabi and as per the recommendations of the university, that is our Uttarakhand Technical University, presently known by Veer Madhu Singh Bhandari Technical University, Uttarakhand. Project, there will be a minor project which you will be preparing project report on. 10% will be covered from that. Attendance and classroom behavior, these have been listed and these to be strictly followed. Textbooks, Matthew and Sadiku will be the textbooks. Although we have GS and Raju also available here in our library, you can consult that. That is more means user friendly sort of and more Indian in nature for you to understand. Also, Sadiku is also a very well explanatory book. You can, but if you consider purchasing it, then you can go for a low price edition of it, which is easily available. It's the publication is Pearson. Chapters, syllabus chapters 1 to 10 from Matthew and Sadoki will be covered in the slides. And other some recommended, these are actually reference books which you can use and consult while you study this topic. First of all, why study electromagnetics? Okay. The course is about electromagnetics, the electrical foundations of electrical and computer engineering, or how electricity really works. Now, this statement basically looks into the black boxes. Actually, there is a hazy daisy sort of a statement, which is very much not very much clear. So, in certain cases, we'll clarify this concept why we are talking about how really electricity works, because people are not at all very much clear. Even I found many of your third year, final year students, how does antenna works? To understand how antenna actually works, how a radiator works, electromagnetic field theories concepts should be very, very much clear and pretty much understandable concepts. Concepts should be used. Basically, understanding is based on your earlier study of physics, how you have studied vectors, scalars, tensors. Although tensor is not a part of your syllabus right now, also earlier you won't have studied it, but you will be studying it in advanced classes also. So linear circuits, because you would have heard of nowadays radio frequency circuits, RFID is a radio frequency investigation device, identification devices, RFIC is radio frequency circuits. However, there are increasing number of cases in EC where circuit theory fails. Example, faster computers, higher communication frequency, power electronics, power system. These all you will study in VLSI, Moore's law and all, Cooper's law. What are the limitations? It will again connect you back to the communication portal or the part theory. Also, AIM is the basis for many devices, machinery, antennas. I already told you. So this is, I will share the slide. You can read down what other applications are found. I have also brought for you certain pictures. Electrostatics, magnetostatics, you already studied as a part of C. Electromagnetic field, what kind of field it is basically. You see a tower is laden with many sectored antennas, directional antennas will be seen in the future. So you see how electromagnetic waves are generated and how it is picked by the receiver. Here basically receiver is actually the mobile phone antenna. It is picking the signal and then a call is established and both the people can make a conversation. See, the antennas are there, the cameras are there, iPads are, these all are electronic devices working on basics of electromagnetics or electromagnetic field theory. Computer technology nowadays, internet, Wi-Fi, everything is these network adapter cards, okay, and these amplifiers, repeaters everywhere. You see, different sorts of antenna. This is small patch antenna. You see, many patches are there. These are called microstrip patch antenna. This antenna like sort of a loudspeaker, seems like it's a horn antenna. Okay, parabolic dish antenna, Yagi-Uda antenna, which we used to earlier see. While we used to, in early days, we used to have a TV antenna. So these were basically Yagi and Uda antennas. The name is given on the basis of who discovered Yagi and Uda. So it is called Yagi-Uda antenna. Then military and defense applications, radar, you will be studying in your final year. Stealth communication, stealth designs, stealth ships, radar technology, sonar technology, underwater, outside the water, underwater, very low frequency communications usually are used for communication so that the signal cannot be held. Today also many coded applications are there. In military specific applications, it is also being used. Also for the commercial aspects. Commercial aspects are also secure because the user is paying for many things, not only for quality, not only for serviceability, not only for reliability of the service, but also for the security purposes nowadays. Because most of the transactions related to bank transactions, bank communications are done through these devices, wireless devices also. Biomedical applications are there. You see, electrocardiogram, ECG, EEG, and maglev. You would have heard of bullet trains, maglev, who move above the track. This is all due to the electromagnetic effect. Sensing sensors are there. Ground penetrating radar, GPR. It shows whether basically means geological decision making based on the data collected or what is the composition of the soil. and in certain cases also for judging the quality of pavements and roads made by PWD department. This ground tracking radar or ground penetrating radars are used. Automotive radars for detecting the speed of the vehicles is used by traffic police. Okay, material science to detect the quality of material through all imaging, that is called infrared imaging, you would have heard of. Nowadays, these sniper guns and LMGs are equipped with this infrared mechanism to visualize in even in the night by the heat of the body. So electromagnetic waves are transverse waves made up of electric and magnetic field. We all know this thing. All electromagnetic waves travel at the same speed, which is the speed of the light. How is it shown? It is shown in this way. The direction is perpendicular to the direction of both electric and magnetic field vectors. Now, different electromagnetic waves carry different amounts of energy. For example, microwaves carry less energy than X-rays. Okay. The amount of energy carried by an electromagnetic wave depends on its wavelength. The shorter the wavelength, the higher the energy. Or inversely, you can call it depends on the frequency. If higher the frequency, higher the energy, lower the frequency, lower the energy. So penetration would be more for higher frequencies. Like X-rays, you see, they are reflected by the skin, but X-ray passes. For example, light waves are reflected by the skin, but X-rays pass straight through them. That's why we have a impression of X-ray, and are these osteologists or people dealing with bones, they can easily what get a figuring of whether there is something wrong with the bones or everything is right or not. They can get into it. If somebody's knee is broken, hand is broken, elbow is broken, they take an X-ray first of all and then decide what kind of medication, what kind of plaster, kacha plaster or pakka plaster or fiber-based plaster is required, or will it be okay with some certain kind of support and some physiotherapy exercises. So this decision making is basically supported by these X-rays, which are again electromagnetic waves, because these all comes under electromagnetic spectrum. So next thing we discuss is the electromagnetic spectrum. You see, different electromagnetic waves are there. Basically, our main focus will be on radio waves, and later on in higher classes on visible light. Communication, you would have heard of light fidelity also. Infrared in certain military applications, and others we won't be using much. Main focus would be on radio waves. Although the radio waves band is also going to increase up to some millimeter waves in the latest 5G, upcoming 5G technology, and in near future, about terahertz band we will be reaching. So we'll be deploying millimeter waves, and a band of terahertz, 1 terahertz to 10 terahertz or 100 terahertz, we'll be going for that. So that means smaller wavelength, higher frequency and energy, because higher the frequency, higher the energy, and smaller the wavelength. If the energy is more, higher the frequency, it's hazardous to body tissues. That's why you would have heard कि 5G का लोग बहुत ज़्यादा विरोध कर रहे हैं, 5th और 6th जनरेशन का भी यूरोपियन कंट्रीज में आप देख रहे होंगे. Are you able to hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So you would be seeing in various European countries and throughout many research establishments also, people are doing a lot of negative work in the negative direction. In case of 5th generation, when we talk of 6th generation, although we are going to get a good quality of communication, good speed, good bandwidth, good latency, everything is covered into it. लेकिन फिर भी इसका विरोध क्यों हो रहा है? जब हमें इतनी अच्छी क्वालिटी की स्पीड मिल रही है, डेटा रेट अच्छा हो जाएगा, जो डिले है, लेटेंसी जिसको हम बोलते हैं, समय लगता है ना, जैसे मूवी डाउनलोड हुआ या कभी कभी डिले हो जाता है डेटा पैकेट आप डाउनलोड.
सर वर्ड बहुत है ना, वर्ड की वजह से ना.
Yes, yes. So why they are means opposing it? Basically, they are opposing it because I told you the concept. Higher the frequency, energy is more. When there is more energy, penetrating power is more, and it is hazardous to the body tissues. See, my body skin is there, then below it epidermis, endodermis, different layers are there. So those tissues are impacted. Some may cause even diseases like cancer, and some other diseases, some other malfunctioning, or some mutations can also be caused by them, which are no doubt part of research, and some researches are also available You can consult ResearchGate or IEEE in order to, if you are interested, in order to read those researches. And even you can ask me to send you certain research papers. You can send me a message on WhatsApp or call me up, ring me up, or either you can email me if you want those research papers specifically to this. So how do radio waves affect human? There's a lot many things to say. I won't miss my track, although I have added everything in this slide. But how they impact the body, you can read the slide. I would share the slide with you. How do infrared impacts? That is also there because infrared applications are there in electronics, which are used for cooking. This microwave is also a part of it. And ultraviolet rays, they mostly cause skin cancer. That's why they're not part of communication. But maybe in future we would be using them too. Specifically not here, but in interspace communication, intergalactic communications among different galaxies are from some of our natural satellite based satellite systems located there, or some communication system located there. As we are planning for moon missions, Mars missions, everything is underwent, and something are also planned for future. How do visible light effects? These are the things, because our eyes consist of rods and cone cells, which helps us to differentiate between colored vision and dark and brighter vision. So that is obviously impacted by the light. Now we come to the core of this topic, that is the vector arithmetic. Although you would have studied this previously also in your 11th, 12th classes and in intermediate classes and in your first year of, I believe, engineering physics. Okay, not covered as a part of engineering mathematics. So what is vector addition? You must be knowing two vectors are to be added. The triangle method you can use, either the parallelogram method you can use. Say there are two vectors A and B, then resultant vector has to be calculated. So that could be calculated by under root A. If simply magnitude is required, then if the vector is C after addition, then the magnitude of the C will be under root A square plus plus B square. Under root A square plus B square within the brackets. Okay, and vector addition is like other simple binary additions, and Boolean addition, commutative, associative. These properties are okay. Then there is a vector subtraction. Where there is basically in algebra there is no subtraction. There is always addition. Only when we apply a negative sign in front of a vector, that means the direction is reversed. Okay. So some reduction in the magnitude will happen. Simple scaling property, like if there is a vector of 1 unit and I multiply it with 3, it will be threefold increased. Its length will be increased threefold. Okay, that is called scaling. Scaling means you are multiplying it with some scalar quantity. It will simply increase the magnitude. You won't apply it with the vector. Now, if you want to apply a vector with the vector, there are two cases: dot product and cross product. You must be knowing that. And multiplication itself is distributive, and multiplication scalar with a negative scalar is simply reversal of direction and increase of magnitude in that particular direction reverse to the earlier direction. Unit vector basically is obtained by a vector when divided by its magnitude, its own magnitude, we get a unit vector. The unit vector simply only indicates the direction of the vector, nothing else, only the direction of the vector. Now this is the dot product. You must be knowing its formula: A dot B. When a vector A and vector B in dot fashion, that is in the dot product format. A, B, magnitude of A, magnitude of B multiplied by the cos theta, where theta is the angle between the two vectors A and B. Okay, other properties are also mentioned. You can read. I will share the slides. Cross product. When we talk about the cross product, basically dot product is one more important thing is dot product is a scalar product. The output is a scalar quantity. Whereas when we multiply in a cross fashion, that is the cross product fashion, two vectors, a vector A and vector B are being multiplied. The formula is vector A, magnitude of vector A, magnitude of vector B, sine theta, and in the direction of unit vector, that means in the direction of B. This unit vector is denoted by A and cap, as you can see and visualize in the slides. Again, simple terminology is given: parallel and anti-parallel, rotational, solenoidal. Those are the concepts we have already studied in engineering physics. Also, we have discussed here. Other some properties of the cross products are being discussed. Triple product, either scalar into vector or vector into vector. See, vector into vector, basically vector dot vector is a dot product. Where scalar cross vector is, that does not make any sense. So triple cross product is basically a new operation where both cross product and a dot product is seen. So what we will be doing, a dot product with a cross product with a dot product. That is basically referred to as triple product. Now we will be moving to a more important topic, that is the coordinate system, and this is the first topic of the syllabus. Earlier was just basically a meager introduction. अभी तक हम खाली इंट्रोडक्शन कर रहे थे पुरानी चीज़ों का जो आपने पढ़ी होंगी. अब हम मूल चीज़ पे आते हैं जो मूलतः बहुत आवश्यक है. मेन चीज़ है कोऑर्डिनेट सिस्टम को हम समझेंगे और कैसे कोऑर्डिनेट सिस्टम एक सिस्टम से दूसरे में परिवर्तित किया जा सकता है. ये कोऑर्डिनेट सिस्टम जो आप पहले से पढ़ते आ रहे हैं वो है कार्टेशियन कोऑर्डिनेट सिस्टम, जिसमें एक्स वाई और जेड आपके 3 प्लेन होते हैं और तीनों एक दूसरे के परपेंडिकुलर होते हैं. आवाज आ रही है?
यस सर.
तो तीनों एक दूसरे के परपेंडिकुलर होते हैं और इसमें आप किसी भी पॉइंट को लोकेट कर सकते हैं. एक्स एक्सिस से कितनी दूरी है, वाई एक्सिस से कितनी दूरी, जेड एक्सिस से, या ऐसे कह सकते हैं एक्स प्लेन से कितनी दूरी है, वाई प्लेन से, जेड प्लेन से, विद रिस्पेक्ट टू ओरिजिन. ओरिजिन हम उस बिंदु को मानते हैं, वी कंसीडर दैट पॉइंट एज ओरिजिन जहां पर तीनों प्लेन मीट कर रहे हैं, जिसके कोऑर्डिनेट रहेंगे 0,0,0. ठीक है, ये तो हो गया सिंपल कार्टेशियन कोऑर्डिनेट. इसमें एक बिंदु की लोकेशन इन्होंने दिखा रखी है किस प्रकार से. ये यहाँ से 2 मीटर दूर था, यहाँ से 3 मीटर दूर था, यहाँ से 2.5 मीटर दूर था, और इसके कोऑर्डिनेट उस हिसाब से 2, 3 और 2.5 हो गए. और बीच वाला जो केंद्र है, केंद्र के कोऑर्डिनेट 0, 0, 0 हो गए. ये खाली एक दर्शाने के लिए एक चित्र बनाया गया है, समझाने के लिए. अब आते हैं सिलिंड्रिकल कोऑर्डिनेट सिस्टम में. सिलिंड्रिकल कोऑर्डिनेट सिस्टम में किसी पॉइंट को दूरी को नापने के लिए ओरिजिन से रो दूरी का एक वेक्टर माना जाता है, जो कि बेस या हॉरिजॉन्टल एक्सिस से या हॉरिजॉन्टल प्लेन से कोई एंगल फाई बना रहा होता है. इसमें 3 चीजों की जरूरत होती है. एक तो रो रेडियल वेक्टर की, फाई जो एंगल बना रहा है वो बेस वेक्टर के साथ, और एक हाइट होती है, इसमें जेड बोलते हैं. तो रो, फाई और जेड, इसमें 3 कोऑर्डिनेट्स होते हैं. इनको परिवर्तित करने का भी हम तरीका देखेंगे, जिसमें ये ध्यान रखना है रो की वैल्यू तो 0 से इन्फिनिटी के बीच में कोई भी ली जा सकती है. फाई की वैल्यू 0 से 2 पाई, क्योंकि वो कंप्लीट रोटेशन एक सर्कल 360 डिग्री में घूमता है, और हम जानते हैं कि 180 डिग्री इक्वल टू पाई रेडियन. तो 360 डिग्री कितना हो गया, 180 का दुगना हो गया, तो 2 पाई हो गया. इसलिए फाई तक जाएगा. और z का वैल्यू जाएगा वही -∞ टू +∞. ये हमें एक्चुअली हम प्लेन अगर मान ले प्लेन जमीन के अंदर भी धंसा हुआ है तो वो डायरेक्शन नेगेटिव हो गई, इसलिए -∞ टू ∞ है. वैसे आपका 0 से इन्फिनिटी आप लिख सकते हैं, लेकिन अगर प्लेन इज मींस समवेयर इन द ग्राउंड आल्सो, इट्स बिलो द ग्राउंड लेवल, देन वी कंसीडर द नेगेटिव -∞ टू ∞. Once all the 3 values are specified, the position of a point is uniquely identified. कई केसेस में जैसे सिलिंड्रिकल ऑब्जेक्ट्स हैं या सम ऑब्जेक्ट्स ऑफ सिलिंड्रिकल dimensions or cylindrical coordinate suitability are found in mechanical engineering or in space. Some objects are there, like rockets are there, or in case of underwater communication, submarines are there. They are somewhat cylindrical in shape. So for locating a point, somewhat cylindrical coordinate or cylindrical coordinate systems are required there, and they can also be transformed from each other. For example, Cartesian can be converted to cylindrical and cylinder can be back converted to Cartesian. इस प्रक्रिया को ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन बोलते हैं. यानी कि किसी भी ऑब्जेक्ट को, यदि हम सिलिंड्रिकल टाइप का ऑब्जेक्ट है तो उसको सिलिंड्रिकल कोऑर्डिनेट में दर्शाना आसान रहेगा ना. हाँ, इनकेस अगर उसको कार्टेशियन में ही दिखाना है तो हम परिवर्तित कर सकते हैं, ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन कर सकते हैं, और कार्टेशियन वाले को भी सिलिंड्रिकल में परिवर्तित कर सकते हैं. वो परिवर्तन भी हम आगे देखेंगे. अब आगे एक और इंपॉर्टेंट सिस्टम है स्फेरिकल. यदि स्फेरिकल शेप का ऑब्जेक्ट है, जैसे प्लैनेट्स है, सैटेलाइट्स है, मून, नेचुरल सैटेलाइट्स आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट, और सम स्फेरिकल ऑब्जेक्ट्स like a big huge ball of fire, okay, or some star, some supernova, they are actually basically calculated in terms of spherical coordinate. Even your radial output or outcome from the antennas is also calculated in terms of or specified in terms of spherical coordinate systems. So spherical coordinate systems, there are 3 things. One is the radial information r, another is the theta, which is the semicircular ellipse, and another third one is the your whole circular ellipse. So theta, which is the semicircular ellipse with the z-axis, basically it forms the latitude similar to the latitude. It varies from 0 to 180 degree. Whereas angle phi, which is very much similar to the earlier cylindrical coordinate system. So its value also ranges from 0 to 5. And here R is somewhat different from rho. Earlier I used rho as the, see, rho is used in cylindrical, whereas in spherical I am using R. Can you see rho and R in spherical? There is certain relationship between, these are different, although they are radial distances, but they are different. We will be seeing and we will be visualizing it, how they are different. Coordinate transformations now we will be discussing. See, for understanding them, we have made it very simple. We see that the coordinate values z, rho, r, and theta are all variables of a right angle. Okay. Whenever you would have seen that drawing, there always seems to be a right angle sort of structure. So, using our knowledge of trigonometry, I can use, or another thing that we have studied in mathematics, part 1 and part 2, partial derivatives. Because partial derivatives basically of particular vector gives you the unit vector in that direction. So we can also use the concept of partial derivatives, also which has not been mentioned here, but more often we'll be using, because instead if we use trigonometry, it becomes sort of memorizing things. So when you do not want to memorize things and you want to just sort out and you get a transformation relation, you use partial differentiation. Although these are certain relationships, if you can remember right triangle one, the relationship between Z, rho and R. This is the first relationship. The other right triangle, rho, x and y. This is another relationship. Then another. So these are basically Cartesian and cylindrical and Cartesian and spherical. एक से दूसरे में कन्वर्ट करने का पता है. अब सिलिंड्रिकल और स्फेरिकल के लिए हमारा एक तीसरा ट्रायंगल बनता है, वो यहाँ अभी देखेंगे. ये उसका रिलेशनशिप आ रहा है. ठीक है. तो ये आपने यहाँ पर दो ट्रायंगल रिलेशनशिप देखी और ये हमारे पास तीन रिलेशंस. तीसरे की जरूरत ही नहीं है, दो से ही हमारा निकला है. तीसरा भी क्योंकि आप उन दो से ही जब आपको रिलेशन पता है तो तीसरा आप डिराइव कर लेंगे. थर्ड ट्रायंगल इज नॉट रिक्वायर्ड, ऑल्दो वी कैन मेक अ थर्ड ट्रायंगल आल्सो, but it won't be a right angle triangle. Always remember, the third triangle won't be a right angle triangle, and the complication in the relations would occur, because in that case we would have to either go for this cosine rule, so we won't go that deep. Now there are certain examples given. Say we have denoted a point in this case using Cartesian coordinates as x, y, and z. The coordinates are given, and we have been asked to convert them into the cylindrical coordinate system. So in this way we can convert using the relationship. We can get rho and phi, and z will be the same as the earlier z. Like phi always remains the same in cylindrical and spherical. Similarly, z also remains same in Cartesian and cylindrical. जेड का वैल्यू नहीं बदलता है, केवल रो और फाई आपने कैलकुलेट करना है. तो आपके तीन कोऑर्डिनेट सिलेंड्रिकल सिस्टम के आ जाएंगे, रो, फाई और जेड. बस आपने ये ध्यान रखना है, कार्टेशियन में जो कोऑर्डिनेट्स उनको हम एक्स, वाई, जेड कह रहे हैं. दैट आर वेरी सिंपल. सिलेंड्रिकल में तीन जो कोऑर्डिनेट्स उनको हम रो, फाई, जेड बोल रहे हैं, और स्फेरिकल में हमारे पास जो कोऑर्डिनेट्स उनको हम आर, थीटा और फाई बोल रहे हैं. यानी कि वहां पर दो एंगुलर है. स्फेरिकल इज टोटली डिफरेंट. देयर आर टू एंगुलर एंड वन रेडियल कोऑर्डिनेट. देन देयर इज अनदर प्रॉब्लम. So these are certain problems that have been discussed, and either using triangle or simply knowing the formula, or third trick that I will be sharing you notes with will be based on partial differentiation, because that there we use a transformation metric and it is much easier than all these methods. Although as these are also the part of the course, so these are being discussed. I believe this is it for today. We have covered our lecture for today. And most of the fundamental things and introductory things have been discussed. By the evening today, before 7 or 8 p.m., I will be sharing with you the notes of how we transform one coordinate system into another using partial derivatives. And that is very much easier method. If you want to see the slides, I'm sharing this. I have already shared, I believe, slides. You can have a look over them. And this video lecture, recorded video lecture, will also be shared with you. Hopefully you understood. So thank you for the class, and we'll accompany you back tomorrow. Thank you. Goodbye. Okay, you can leave. Thank you.